And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
For months, Rachel Zegler has found herself stuck at the center of one of Disney's biggest controversies. What should have been a golden opportunity, a lead role in a live-action remake of Snow White, has turned into a non-stop internet disaster. Instead of praise and celebration, the project sparked outrage from all directions: fans, critics, and even people within the industry. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, they did. Major theater chains are now pulling the film from screens after a dismal box office showing. To make matters worse, Rachel finally responded, but rather than calming the storm, her reaction made things explode all over again. The internet hasn't forgotten the moment Disney announced the live-action Snow White. At first, fans were unsure, but still hopeful. That changed quickly when Rachel began talking about the film in interviews. Instead of honoring the 1937 classic, she called the original story weird, outdated, and even criticized the love story, calling it creepy. These comments hit a nerve. This wasn't just any old movie. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was Disney's first animated film and a beloved piece of film history. Rather than promoting her version with respect, it felt like Rachel was tearing down the legacy of a cultural icon. And for Disney fans, that didn't go over well at all. Social media lit up with criticism. Fans accused Rachel of being ungrateful and disrespectful, but she didn't back down. In fact, she made things worse. During one press event, she said Disney should pay her royalties every time the movie is streamed, explaining that wearing the dress for 18 hours a day deserved extra compensation. That comment alone sent shockwaves through the fandom. It came off as entitled and arrogant, especially considering the role she was playing. The public wasn't just disinterested in the movie anymore. They were actively rooting for it to fail, and when the film finally arrived in theaters, that's exactly what happened. The movie flopped hard. With a massive $250 million budget, Disney expected Snow White to be another live-action success story. Instead, it made just $45 million domestically. On opening weekend, a shocking low for a Disney remake. For comparison, The Little Mermaid, which also faced its own share of controversy, managed to earn $95 million during its first weekend. The poor numbers were bad enough, but the internet made things worse. Memes flooded social media, mocking the film's failure and nicknaming it Josh Snowflop. Critics gave harsh reviews, audiences posted negative feedback, and theaters began reacting quickly. Major cinema chains started reducing Snow White showtimes, moving it to smaller screens, and giving better time slots to other movies. Some theaters even pulled the film entirely by the second week. For Disney, it was more than just a box office failure. It was an outright rejection. And right at the heart of this disaster was Rachel Zegler. Trying to control the growing backlash, Rachel took to social media. She posted a video, likely hoping to change the conversation. But instead of a thoughtful or calm response, she released an emotional and dramatic clip that quickly went viral for all the wrong reasons. Filmed from what looked like her bedroom, Rachel spoke with a mix of anger and defiance. She admitted she knew about the hate, but refused to back down. She said people were still coming to see the movie, comparing herself to the famous winged victory statue at the Louvre. "When I win, the winged victory arrived in pieces, and people still line up to see her," she said. "I can only hope that despite my flaws, people will still come to see me." Her words were meant to be poetic, but to many, it sounded self-important and completely out of touch. It didn't take long for TikTok users to start mocking her. Twitter, now X users, created parody videos and meme threads flooded every platform. Rachel didn't win anyone over. Instead, she gave her critics even more to talk about. And just when things seemed like they couldn't get worse, they did. This time on the red carpet. At the Oscars, Rachel tried to put on a brave face by showing up with her Snow White co-star Gal Gadot. But fans watching closely noticed something strange.
the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story.
At the Oscars, fans expected a united front, but what they saw told a different story. Rachel Zegler was there, dressed to impress, standing next to her Snow White co-star Gal Gadot. But something felt off. Gal barely interacted with Rachel the entire night. Body language experts and celebrity gossip accounts were quick to notice that Gal seemed distant, almost like she was trying to separate herself from the chaos. Soon after, rumors began to swirl. Sources close to the situation claimed Gal was still promoting the movie because she had to. She was under contract. But privately, she had made a decision to step away from Rachel and the drama that surrounded her. While Gal continued landing new roles and walking red carpets with ease, Rachel's public image kept falling apart. Even people in Hollywood who once supported her were now keeping their distance. Behind closed doors, the fallout from Snow White was growing bigger. Hollywood doesn't forget, and it definitely doesn't forgive easily. According to insiders, Rachel's future projects were being reconsidered. Studios that had once been excited to cast her were suddenly unsure. Was she still worth the risk? Was she still the fresh new face they could build a franchise around? The truth was hard to ignore. In an industry built on image and reputation, Rachel was starting to look like a liability. After her breakout role in West Side Story, she had been seen as a rising star with major potential. But now, after the backlash from Snow White, she was viewed as controversial and unpredictable. Directors weren't lining up to defend her. Co-stars stayed quiet. Even Disney's powerful PR team, known for protecting their talent, seemed to be slowly backing away. At this point, Rachel had two choices. She could offer a sincere apology, take some responsibility, and try to rebuild her reputation, or she could dig in deeper and fight back. Unfortunately, she chose the second path. Rather than trying to reconnect with her fans or acknowledge the backlash, Rachel doubled down. She made sarcastic posts, rolled her eyes at critics, and acted like the failure of Snow White had nothing to do with her. But in Hollywood, comebacks are possible if the star shows humility, grace, or undeniable charm. Right now, Rachel isn't showing much of either. If she hopes to turn things around, she'll need to make big changes. That starts with admitting mistakes and showing audiences she understands why they're upset. She might even need to step back for a while, let the noise die down, and then quietly come back with a stronger, more grounded image. Because if she keeps going the way she is, ignoring the criticism, fighting with fans, and acting above it all, then she might not just lose roles, she could lose her career. It's not just about Snow White anymore. It's about Rachel Zegler's future in an industry that moves fast and forgets even faster. Whether she can recover or not depends on what she does next. But one thing's for sure. While theaters might have removed Snow White from their screens, the internet isn't letting this controversy disappear anytime soon. What do you think? Was the backlash against Rachel fair, or was it blown out of proportion? Can she make a comeback? Or is her time in Hollywood already over? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns of the biggest controversies in entertainment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.